Hello and welcome to Dugout Debrief. This is Boone Broadcasting's one, first, and only baseball-centric podcast, and I'm once again so happy to be talking about something that I care so much about and I love to talk about. We got a lot to cover today. I might have a little bit of a faster show because this is getting recorded at about 7:40 on Wednesday, night of Game 5 of the World Series. So with that being said, we're going to go get into the news here. And the first one is the most frustrating. We're going to go start on the frustrating one. I think you guys know what I'm going to talk about. This move by them might have been even considered a little bit out of pocket, to speak. Two Yankee fans who were season ticket holders, per Chris Rose, he was the one who said that. I saw it in the TikTok, were ejected from Game 4 of the World Series due to them attempting to rip Mookie Betts' glove out of his hand. So that was kind of a not so great move. It was off a foul ball by Gleyber Torres. It was completely unacceptable. I'm also not going to say these two guys' names. They broke. They've been very, very open about their actions. They do not seem to regret it. Apparently, they were free. They were even at a bar the night after they were ejected finally by the Yankees team. And yeah, they just want recognition. So their names shouldn't be released. Shame on you, ESPN, for saying their names, because that's where I had to go to. And there are two major things that annoy me about this. So the first thing is that they could have injured Mookie Betts. They were pulling at his wrist very hard. And he actually had a wrist injury earlier this year when he was hit by a pitch. And I feel like that was incredibly intentional by them. That would not surprise me whatsoever. That was assault. They should be in jail. And it was a horrible look for the fan base, because I know that not every Yankee fan is like that. They just kind of were the stereotype. I will definitely say Dodgers fans throwing stuff on the field and the stuff that we say and the chants that we have made are definitely not very nice. But that was a bad look. And we have friends on this channel who are very big Yankee fans, such as Jason and mouthing off with Mike, two very big Yankee fans. But they both agree with me that was a bad look. Jason and I were actually texting about this earlier this afternoon. And this should be a lifetime ban from baseball parks in general. Because the other thing that annoys me is that the Yankees are considering allowing him back. They considered allowing him back for Game 5. He was barred from Game 5, but he's a season ticket holder, so they're probably going to let him return next year, because regardless, there's not going to be another game in New York. Even if New York comes back, the next two will be in LA. So, this is a horrible look. Both of these men should be banned from baseball, never, ever allowed to return to a ballpark, not just Yankee Stadium, but they should never be allowed to return to any ballpark in the entire country, whether if it's, Petco, PNC. I don't think that they would try at Dodger Stadium. Might not be the best idea. Lifetime ban. And these guys had the nerve to claim, oh, if you're in our area, we're going to D up. Whatever that is supposed to mean. He said it at a bar, and I'm sure alcohol played a factor in that, but that's another argument for another day. Look, buddy, you're 38 years old. You got a beer belly and you're sitting at a bar. I don't think you're going pro anytime soon. So I don't think your defensive skills really mean all that much. But horrible look. It's ridiculous. Taking it way too seriously. Yes, I take it seriously too. But if you interfere in any way with the game, especially if you could potentially harm a player, that should be jail time or at least a fine. Shame on the Yankees for even considering letting him back. Should be gone. Our second piece of news out of 3 here is Will Venable has been hired as the Chicago White Sox new manager. The South Side has a new skipper. He was the associate manager with the Texas Rangers World Series team. And he was also a bench coach for the Boston Red Sox under Alex Cora. He played 9 years in the MLB with the Padres, Rangers, and Dodgers in his final year. And I found it interesting, but not really controversial, to be honest, you guys. They are going for younger talent. Obviously, with them hiring Tony La Russa a while back, they did not do that, and we saw how that worked out for them. That was one of, not the main. I'm not going to completely blame La Russa for the White Sox wheels falling off. But it played a factor, and he was up there in age, and there was nothing against the guy personally. He was a genius in his time, but not with the White Sox. With Oakland and with St. Louis, he was. But yeah, I'm not surprised necessarily. It's uncontroversial, I would say. He's an Ivy League guy, by the way. He's 40 years old, and he's an Ivy League guy. He went to Princeton University. And all else I can really say about this is I'm kind of surprised that they didn't give more consideration uh, to Grady Sizemore. That was kind of an interesting move on me. I think that he deserved it, despite the fact that they did break the loss record with him, but at least give the guy an interview. I don't know. I've read mixed things. If you guys can find something else, please put it in the comments. I would really appreciate that, because I've seen some stuff about on ESPN where they're like, yeah, they considered him. But then at the beginning when he got hired, they're like, no, we're not even considering him. Like Chris Getz was like, no, we're not even consider him. This is to the end of the year thing. And all else I can say about it is, well, they have a couple young talent, couple pieces. Chris Getz and Venable have a lot to do. They have a lot of work. They have their work cut out for them. Unfortunately, those poor guys. So finally, our third piece of news, because we have a lot to talk about with the World Series breakdown. Finally, on Monday, it was the Sports Equinox. Monday, October 28th was the Sports Equinox. Both my Dodgers and Steelers played and won, which was really awesome. And interestingly enough, this has actually happened 3 times already, despite the fact that the NFL season is just around halfway through. It's already happened 3 times. And the first time it did, one of the 3. Both teams lost, plus my 2 main fantasy teams lost too. So maybe I should be listening to Wayne and Jason on Sideline Savants a little bit more, because I think maybe I should have watched them for my draft. We won't even get into that. It's for another show, for another day. But with that being said, the next 2 times, in the brighter note, the Dodgers and Steelers won on both days, including on Monday. The Steelers won Monday Night Football, and the Dodgers won a World Series game. And I had both TVs up. I dragged my TV down to the living room, and I watched it with my buddy Jorge, who's a big Commanders fan. Shout out Jorge for him and his Commanders dramatically winning on Sunday. He was pretty ecstatic for that. But we're talking a little bit too much football. We're on a side tangent, because that is for another show. And Aaron's Gridiron Address, make sure to tune into that. And yeah, we had 2 other sports go too. We had the NBA, we had the NHL, and we had the NBA going too, which is really, really cool. But yeah, that's for Aaron's Gridiron Address between the 4 o'clock games and Sunday Night Football on Sundays. And that is also for Outta Pocket, which they're talking about football, baseball with me, basketball, a bunch of stuff. They got a lot of stuff to talk about. But that being said, we're going to get into the main topic, because that's kind of what we've been doing the past few weeks here, is just boom, 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 postseason. And yeah, World Series Game 1. And like I said, quick editor's note here. This is being recorded on a Wednesday evening before Game 5, because frankly, with you ladies and gentlemen, I want to watch the games. That's really what I want to do. And yeah, that's what I want to focus on. Game 1, what a game. Game of the postseason, if you ask me. Dodgers won 6-3, and a lot of interesting things happened. Stanton hit a home run. Wow, that never happens. Flaherty had a great start, 5-1, 2 earned runs with 6 Ks. Pretty nice. Dodgers bullpen did great. Anthony Bonda, Brusdar Graterol, Alex Vesia, Michael Kopech, and Blake Trinan all held the Yankees to only one additional run after Flaherty exited the game. Regardless of how it ended, which I kind of liked how it ended, we'll say how it ended. Freddie Freeman did as he said, what every kid dreams of in the backyard, playing with their dad or their brother. Walk-off grand slam to win a World Series game. And it was amazing. I jumped so high up, I think I went through the ceiling. I will say that I think that this is the best non-clinching Dodger postseason moment since the Gibson home run in 1988 off of Dennis Eckersley. Obviously, Freddie Freeman was not as injured as Gibson was. No, the hip injury was much different. Gibson actually could not walk. He was listed as out, he didn't start. So very, very different situation. But still, Joe Davis did a pretty nice little homage there to Vin Scully on how he called it. And yeah, it set the tone for a good series, which we've had so far. Game 2, going to Game 2. We also took Game 2 with a score of 4-2. Shuji Yamamoto looked fantastic as he has improved much in this postseason. The Yankees were forced to go to the bullpen early due to Carlos Rodon struggling in a high pitch count. not many big bright spots for the Yankees there. Soto did go 4 for 2 with a towering home run, and Clay Holmes looked a lot better. But on the Dodgers side, Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Freddie Freeman, once again, hit home runs, but the Dodgers up 2-0. Game three was another 4-2. We keep having these. We hope it's 4-2 on Wednesday night too, but for the Dodgers. 4-2, take a 3-0 series lead. Aaron Judge once again struggled, which has kind of unfortunately been a thing for him recently in the playoffs, but we hope it stays like that. Major bright spots were Stanton and Rizzo. Clark Schmidt really struggled. He went 2-2, 3 earned runs with only 3 Ks, an incredibly high pitch count early. And this is what the Dodgers do. This is what we did in game 2 as well. And game 1 to some extent is we got pitch counts up high early. And the Dodgers have done that a lot this year. That's kind of the way that we won a lot of regular season games as well, as we got good pitchers out early. We made them be at like 50, 60 by the 4th, and that's a big deal. The Yankees were forced to go to 7 relievers in their 2-run loss, and unfortunately for me in game 4, that did not really help. Sadly, as those relievers didn't help the Dodgers. They fell 11-4, despite Freddie Freeman taking that early lead with that massive home run with Mookie Betts on base. That did not end up helping that much because guys like Anthony Volpe broke through, hitting a grand slam, who I've been big on since he was in the minor leagues. I'm really happy that Anthony Volpe looked the way that he did. He's been really good. He's going to continue to be good. Gleyber Torres hit a home run. Even Darren Judge got a hit, which is still, again, a boost for the confidence going into game 5. So Austin Wells also hitting a home run as well, and that was good for him out of the 9 spot. He definitely needed that for his sake. I'm just sitting here turning on the pregame show just as we record this. It is 7:58 on Wednesday night as we record this, and I'm putting on the pregame show just as I speak. So sorry for stepping out of the camera for a minute. The bullpen for the Dodgers kind of did what kind of the anxiety that I had about them earlier going into the playoffs that they ended up kind of not doing. In the DS and the CS. The bullpen looked terrible. Daniel Hudson looked absolutely atrocious. Landon Knack struggled, a guy who I've been big on for a while. I said the Yankees would make it competitive, and they did that. I said this was going to be a competitive series. And like I said at the beginning, about a few dugout debriefs ago, is that I didn't the Dodgers winning. I had us losing the Padres. This is not the year that I thought that we would make it, and I'm hoping that we can finish it. So with that being said, we're kind of flying through this, and I apologize. We're going to go to our quick little Game 5 preview because by the time you guys watch this, the game will be over. Starters, we know that. We got the lineups too, but you guys can just look that up. It's going to be Flaherty, the Game 1 starter, so it's going to be Flaherty versus Garrett Cole. Jack Flaherty had one of the best outings I've seen for the Dodgers in this postseason, and Garrett Cole looked fantastic until Aaron Boone had a total Aaron Boone blunder, pulling out Garrett Cole way too early and putting Nasty Nestor in a really bad spot. And there are a couple things that frustrate me about this, ladies and gentlemen. One, I get that he went based off of the metrics, but I don't get why he didn't go with Tim Hill, because the postseason you kind of got to go with who's hot. You do go with the metrics, obviously you go with the metrics, but you also have to go with who is hot. And I do not really understand pulling Garrett Cole out there early. And even if they were, I think they should have gone with Tim Hill. I really feel bad for Nestor Cortez as well. He's a guy I've been big on. I love the mustache and the cleats and the goofy wind up and all that. He looks like something out of the 1950s. But it put Nasty Nestor in a tough spot, and that was unfortunate for him. But like I said, we're not talking about game 1. We're sitting here and we're talking about game 5. So the keys for victory, the Volpe and the bottom of that lineup, Volpe, Wells need to step up, but also Aaron Judge needs to step up too. This is the final game of the Bronx. He needs to send, regardless of what happens, he needs to make a good impression there because he is worth the money. He's a fantastic power hitter, base runner, fielder, everything. And I'm happy that he's healthy. I just hope for his sake, but not for the Dodgers' sake, that he can do really good. And for my Dodgers, which, to be honest with you, not even to go on to a tangent, but I want to tell you guys, I've liked them since I've followed baseball. They were my team since 2007. I've liked them since the Adrian Gonzalez days, to the Don Mattingly era, and into the Dave Roberts era as we are right now. And with the 2020 World Series, I want to prove to everybody that it counted. Yes, it did, because everybody had to go through the same procedures. They were separated from their families. And all I got to say to you guys is, if your team won, like my Rangers win World Series 2020, you going to say it doesn't count? Shannon, if the Braves won in 2020, would you say it doesn't count? No, it's just because it's not your team. It didn't happen to be your team that year. And that's why people said what they said about it. And a lot of it's unfounded, because we had guys go positive. We had Justin Turner go positive. We had a lot happen there, and everybody was in a bubble. Everybody was isolated from their family and friends, who had the emotional toll too. And I remember that night like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my college dorm, and it was a roller coaster. And here I am, maybe with a couple friends, and I'm going to be sitting in a living room, and I'm hoping that it's going to be another fun concluding roller coaster of a ride. Finally, we need everybody to stay hot. We need everybody through and through to stay hot to win this World Series on this Wednesday night as this is being recorded. We need the stars. We need Ohtani. We need Freeman. We need Tommy Edman, Mookie Betts to all step up. We need the lower in the order guys like Kike Hernandez, Gavin Lutz, and Will Smith to step up. We need to stay hot. We need to get Garrett Cole's pitch count up early. And that is my key to victory for the Dodgers and Yankees. So that being said, we're going to go to the trivia question, then we're going to get out of here. Last week's trivia question was, who is the only pitcher in Rockies history to throw a no-hitter? And it is a guy with one of the funnest baseball names out there, a guy who unfortunately his career was ended / overshadowed by an unfortunate incident caused by a man named Edwin Encarnacion, and a bad decision by Buck Showalter, who should have gone to Zach Britton. All my Orioles fans know who this is. All my Rockies fans know who this is. It's Ubaldo Jimenez, the man, the myth, the legend. That being said, I'm going to go to the trivia question this week. This is one that I kind of was just scouring MLB.com, because I was looking at some news stuff before the program this evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to do this. I want you to name the 3 players who have won multiple World Series MVPs. And I'll give you guys a couple hints. It is not in the 21st century. It was all in the 20th century. And I believe the most recent would be the 80s, I think, if I remember when he won last. But name all 3 players who have won multiple World Series MVPs. With that being said, I'm about to get out of here because the World Series is about to start. They got the preview on right as I speak. I hope that we're victorious tomorrow, but if we aren't, we aren't. It goes back to LA. We just hope it does not. Make sure to subscribe to Boom Broadcasting, the best up-and-coming sports YouTube channel on the internet. Make sure to watch Quick Hits with Podcast Smitty, the man, the myth, the legend, Shannon. Make sure to listen to Outta Pocket with my boy Mike. Oh, and I show up on there every so often, too. I was just on there recently. Gridiron Address, Aaron Schneider. I'm pretty much on there. I missed last week because I had some stuff to do. But you might see me again this week. And finally, the show that I really, really need to watch, because apparently I'm not the best fantasy football mind. I need to watch Sideline Savants with Jason and Wayne. And Jason, a little shout out to you, man. I love you, but I hope we win. Finally, subscribe to my TikTok at Chris.3623 on TikTok. I post almost daily. Hopefully, we'll have a victory post. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to watch the World Series. You have a wonderful week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy it all. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.